Hi everyone. I wanted to start this panel discussion by asking the esteemed panelists to introduce yourself. And at the same time of the introduction, the idea is to have as well direct jump into the subject and the topic of today. So if you can introduce yourself, what you do, but as well give two concrete examples of how your bank is actually innovating for investment funds, and we can maybe start from you.
Okay, so good afternoon and thanks for being here again. We know that it is the end of the day. So I'm Laurent Marochini, I'm Head of Innovation for Société Générale Securities Services based in Luxembourg. I'm also crypto and blockchain leader for Société Générale. So what I'm doing for Société Générale, so I'm working on the operational efficiency, client experience, and also risk management using the new and sometimes old technology like electronic signatures. So to do so, to transform the bank, we are doing a lot of awareness session, and we are working a lot with the different executive committee of Société Générale, because we need to put it in the strategy, because if it is not in the strategy, we cannot move forward. And as we need people, as we need employees, and as we need our talents, we do a lot of awareness session. And we have created for that a FinTech Academy in SGSS in Luxembourg. So in terms of use cases, of course, we are going to talk about AI and blockchain. The first, AI, it's not a new topic for Société Générale. We are in this space since more than 10 years with more than 340 use cases in artificial intelligence, with an objective of value of 500 million by 2026. In Luxembourg, we have several use cases in artificial intelligence in our different software, of course, but I can just take an example of something that we are doing right now. We are using machine learning to automatically read the prospectus and to extract key information. So instead of spending hours to read prospectus and just to take 5 to 10 information and do it manually, the artificial intelligence can do it on your own. So this is definitely a very interesting use cases. Of course, we are doing things with Gen AI, but we will speak later on. And for blockchain and tokenization, we support our digital asset arm, Société Générale Forge, which is a subsidiary of Société Générale Group, where we do the tokenization of certificate product and bonds. And in Luxembourg, for example, we have made the issuance of the EIB bonds, and SGSS was a record keeper for this operation. And we have also made the first listed of tokenized bonds with the Luxembourg Stock Exchange. It was a year ago. So we can see that artificial intelligence is definitely a key topic for us in Luxembourg, and for the future we are working with the tokenization of financial products.
That's great to hear as an introduction. Let's continue with BNP.
So, Raphael Machet from BNP Paribas Group, branch in Luxembourg. I'm in charge of the regulatory watch and regulatory projects, so meaning the identification of all regulations that impact the bank in Luxembourg, as a European or Luxembourgish. And then when the projects are becoming transversal, I take them in charge just to ensure that we have a smooth implementation. I'm also co-chairing a forum with Alfie on the digital European finance strategy. And so that's why you're also very well connected with Market Association in Luxembourg. And last but not least, I've also developed the Luxembourg market practice for the bank on the digital asset, just to ensure that we have in all the function and department of the bank knowledgeable people on digital asset, meaning that when we can or we have to implement a new client, new project, etc., it is the process. So what are the key challenges that we have had in the past year? I mean, well, the two main ones are, first, obviously, digital asset with the issuance of digital bond with European Investment Bank, with Banque de France, Électricité de France in France, of course. But as well, the main topic now is also DORA, because I think the two pillars of the bank are today efficiency and resilience. And then innovation can only come when you target either efficiency or resilience. There will be trigger with client coming in and pushing you a bit to help you start your project. But anyway, innovation can only come with either resilience or efficiency.
Thank you very much. Finally, you, Banking Circle.
Yes, thank you. And thank you, Alfie, for the invite being here. I'm Marcus Yarbug, heading sales for Banking Circle. I come with 17 years of banking background. Banking Circle is basically a B2B bank. We were born in the payment space, so we built like a payment hub for banks, payment companies, and small payment companies. And what we saw was there was a lot of demand from the Luxembourg market when it especially came to fund business, that they needed an alternative bank to help them open accounts in a very quick manner. So as a young bank, we thought we could do it. We have the tech, we are a fintech bank, so we stepped into it quite bold, and we found out very quickly that we didn't have the right onboarding process for it. So if you ask me like what we did, I think we are quite a quick learner. We took 6 months. We used a partner to help us out in the first 6 months so we could build a new process to onboard funds, which was launched last year in Q3. And we went from almost 4 to 6 months of onboarding to 2 to 3 days in 6 months. And of course, it's not like just the speed, because obviously it's about scalability and making sure that you can ramp with clients, but it needs to fit within regulatory requirements. So I think that was a big achievement. If you look at this year, it's not exactly what you guys are going to do, but we're looking at launching a portal for our clients where they can structurize uploading documentation. And then later that year, when the platform is functioning correctly, we will tap it into our CRM systems so we can do automatic checkings and giving feedback instantly to clients so that they know how an application is being looked at and what is necessary to get the account open. Because yes, on paper we can say 2 to 3 days, but we all know we need all the documentation to be correct, and that's always the challenge. So we're trying to build that up and make sure that the client is able to know what we require from them. And the last solution that we want to offer our clients is what we built for banks. We will want to offer them that as well, which is basically one connection that enables them to operate internationally, open accounts internationally, like our other institutional clients do as well.
Great. So we have a very expert panel of two banks and historical banks that are innovating, and more recent one bringing innovation in the investment fund industry. As for myself, I actually lead a fintech, which is in the investment fund space as well, and innovating and working with banks and asset manager. So for me, the next question is about, it's good that you seem to have very concrete example of bringing innovation in the investment funds as a bank, as a service provider. What would be the challenges that slow down that? And it can be interesting to have your opinion as a new, I would say, joiner in the group. But here as well, I would love to start with the kind of established players in saying you have topic of innovation in the area, AI, tokenization, digital assets, but we see that it's slow, particularly like for a fintech like me. Sales cycle on big institution like yours are extremely long. They are like when it's 18 months for a cash burning startup is extremely long. So what are the challenges internally? I think it can be interesting for the audience to know practically where do you spend your time leading transformation.
Okay, so innovation has been in the center of the financial industry since a while. First ATM in 67 with Barclays, launch of Nasdaq, Swift in the year 70, first digital bank in 95, 4 or 5 years after the launch of internet. So I have to say that from an innovation perspective, it's always interesting in the financial industry. And yes, indeed, there is a kind of slowdown in innovation since 2008. I will not explain you why 2008, but there is a strong slowdown in terms of innovation. My first reason I see and where I spend time is definitely regulation. So we have a lot of regulation is necessary. We are regulated. By the way, since 2008, we spend a lot of time to deal with regulation, sometimes to innovate, to better deal with regulation, and sometimes it's okay. By the way, if I take the example of crypto funds, for example, if you want to be a crypto fund asset service provider 1 or 2 years ago, regulation was not here. So it was quite hard for a bank to deal with non-regulated actors. That's why it was not possible to do it, and that's why you did not see a lot of players probably now with MICA and the different regulations. So regulation can be quite tricky sometimes. After you have the legacy system. So if you are just taking some statistics, I think that the IT department, they spend between 80 and 90% in the run the bank, and the last 10% is the change the bank. And if the change the bank is just to improve a new system, and it's not innovation, so we need to deal with this one. And if we have innovations that will require to do a lot of interoperability with legacy system, you will see your budget going up, and probably you will not launch the innovation. And the last part is probably for me a kind of change management, because when you are talking about innovation, you have what we call the innovation dilemma. So why do you want to take a risk of something where you are not able to measure the return on investment? For example, if I want to be a crypto asset service provider, okay, I have some studies from the BCG, from the World Economic Forum, but you need to take a risk, and you are not sure that tomorrow this risk will allow you to take cash, whereas 90% of your activity is business as usual. So and if you are a CEO, do you want to take the risk? You spent 100 million to maintain your legacy system, and tomorrow you just say, okay, I will just take my legacy system, I will do the decommissionement of my IT system to do something else where you are not sure. So this is the innovation dilemma, and I strongly believe that it's also a cause. So in terms of change management and risk appetite. By the way, and I think that with my dear friend Raphael, we have the same. We are able to innovate for some reason, and I think that you are going to elaborate on that. Client demand and.
Well, thank you for the.
But before, I would love to hear challenges for you as well. Like a reason of innovation are interesting, but where do you spend your time? Like what is the problems that you face on bringing your ideas of innovation in BNP?
So to me, well, I have more than 20 years of experience in project management, and when you want to succeed in a project is a kind of a stool with 3 legs. One is communication, one is governance, one is momentum. Communication, talking about the project you want to lead, no problem. Governance, you need to find a good sponsor, sometimes a client request, no problem. And then the momentum means, are you really ready to make the change? And that's where the tricky piece begins. It's changing the man internally. Hey, I can tell you, 3 years ago we came with a project. Some of our clients want to issue a digital bond. No way. Risk, compliance, no one wanted to hear about it. Too complicated, too risky. Do you know what you are talking about? No, too risky. And then that's where the tricky piece begins, because you need to, I wouldn't say educate, I don't like the word educate, but at least show people what it's about, explain. And that's where we developed internally also some practice in digital asset, just to make sure that in each department we've got people who are knowledgeable on the subject. We have trained them via the Luxembourg University, for instance. And when in departments some people are really the point of contact on which you can rely on to build a project, then the other member of the team, they just follow the leader, natural leader in their team. And that's much more easy than when you come from another department saying, oh, this is what you're going to do. You've got hurdle, you've got walls everywhere. And that's the way we manage it, by making sure that we have some allies, let's say, quite widely.
So it's not easy to be the first.
Never.
In the financial industry.
Yeah, maybe a different eye on all of that, or how is it in a newcomer? I mean, new joiner in the banking, in serving investment funds.
Yeah, I think it's completely different, right? I mean, my neighbors, they have like existing scale, so is it other problems than we have? We need to scale to get to that point, hopefully somewhere in the future, to have these problems. I mean, the company exists 10 years. As a bank, we exist 5 years. It's basically where the banks know our offering, and payment companies as well. We're stepping into the fund space where we need to do a lot of explaining. What is Banking Circle? What do you do? And is our money safe with you? Like, we need to explain those kind of things. So from a headache perspective, I think it's less a burden. But we need to really get the name out there and get the confidence of clients that they can bank with us. And luckily, it's going very well. But we need to keep that momentum. We need to keep promoting our services to make sure that clients are aware of what we can do and how we can make a difference.
So what you are saying is this come with innovation as well, right? Like, it's the fact of being able to innovate and bring maybe something faster than established companies and established banks for funds, to serving funds. That's one of the points of
exactly. I mean, if you look at telecom, for example, everybody was sending text messages. WhatsApp came out and text messages was almost over. I mean, we don't think we are the WhatsApp of the future, but we would like to be in that same stream to take our part in the ecosystem, because looking at our neighbors, we can never do what they can do, but we are like a real niche. We can open accounts really fast, and side services would be something with our neighbors could offer clients, and that's how we would coexist in the future.
Great. Speaking about future, so I think we saw a bit concrete example of what you're working on. We experienced what you face on your daily job on bringing innovation for investment funds as a bank. Now, if we project indeed a bit in the future and we look, okay, what you foresee as the work of a bank in the different roles, that can be like the custody or something else, or like administration, or maybe something that do not exist today, I don't know, in, let's say 25, because you will tell me that 10 years is not enough. Let's say 25, like the lame question, but a bit pushed. So, Société Générale in 25 years, not Société Générale. What will be, because that's a tough question. So your role or your bank service in 25 years, and the same for your colleagues.
In 25 years, so it was not 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, if you are just seeing what we have done in 10 years, it was a lot of regulation. We have done a lot of RPA, and thanks to the COVID, because we had no choice, we have made a kind of a strong acceleration with electronic signatures, paperless, and some digital solution. In 25 years or in 20 years time, I don't have my crystal ball, but I just need to say that we will not speak about new technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain. I suppose it will be part of our solution. Bank will still continue to exist, and probably we will not work in T+2, but it will be more instantaneous transaction, and we will use a DG Euro, central bank digital currency, and working with new asset class, for example, private equity. It's quite hard to invest in private equity. Probably in the future, we can do a STP transaction using private equity. We are in 25 years, huh? So maybe with tokenization, we will have new asset class in the future. I'm not talking about just Bitcoin, but we will discover new asset class in the future with a strong infrastructure and instantaneous transaction.
So the banks will still be there and will still offer services, or?
I can't tell now, but yes, we will still be there.
What about you? What do you foresee in terms of services, and how, maybe to make the link as well with the same question of before, like how do we go there? I think that's interesting as well. Like, who will push there? You say regulation, you say client request, like when funds come, what they want, and where do we go?
Yeah, I think as usual, the two main pillars are resilience, for instance. Resilience, bank will have no choice but to be resilient, but on the other hand, also to be efficient. And more every year, you need to be more efficient than the year before. So what is clearly visible is the fact that 10 years ago, it was not even arguable that you could go out of the T+2. Now you do T+1, and that's the target. Clearly, DLT will bring you to T0. But this will imply a change in technology. We see today the beginning of some issuance of bond, issuance of fund using the DLT. So clearly tangible asset, but tokenized tangible asset, tokenized financial instrument. Clearly, this will become the norm. There will still be some legacy financial instrument, obviously, but the technology will shift towards DLT because it brings much more efficiency than today, far less reconciliation, far less settlement cycle, and then obviously we come with stablecoin or digital euro, etc. To reach that, once again, changing the mind, accepting that you can rely on an external technical source that is audited and not only replicating what the competitor or the other bank has in its own book and then copy it into your book and then making the reconciliation. I think the shift in mind has to go there, but clearly that's the way it will go with much more centralized information system, which today are quite spread around the globe.
So, quite same answer in terms of still there, still bringing a key support to the fund industry as a bank, but maybe as well on something different that today we don't see in terms of role, or
are quite different today. You've seen even when you want to create an account, when you start at the beginning, you show it, Marcus. It's not so easy. I mean, you just say, okay, opening an account should not be tricky. Yes, it is, because there are a lot of things you don't see behind. So I think because of their legacy, business and knowledge, a bank and fund manager, asset manager, management company will be there. Obviously, there will obviously be a need for specialized fintech, because that's where the innovation begins before being absorbed by banks and and that. But anyway, the technology will considerably shift, and that's what we have seen in the past, let's say, even 10 years or 20 years with the use of internet, which was nonsense 20 years ago. Now you use it in your BAU for banks. So, yeah.
Great. And let's finishing with you. Like, I mean, you're again a new player, maybe another type of challenges and something that you bring as well. But I think you can do the same.
25
like
years. 25 years for banking. I mean, 25 years for banking circle is too long, too far away. If you look at the purpose of banking circle, it's about making payments inclusive. We believe payments will become more inclusive, and we have seen the examples. If you look at Apple making Apple Pay, IKEA buying a bank to do buy now, pay later, BMW, Mercedes offering you a payment solution when you park somewhere. So why are we good in what we do? Because we enable our clients. We are a B2B provider. So if you ask me, in 25 years, payments has become more inclusive. And if we look at the fund business, we will enable our clients to make them own the process themselves, not needing the bank to open the account and tell them, okay, it's perfect, now the account will be open. We will try to enable them as much as possible to open that account, and us obviously operating within the regulatory framework. But I think regulation is going that direction as well. You see banking license lights, you see other type of licensing opening up. So we think that is where we will follow the trend and make sure that companies are able to partner with us to help their clients. That's what we are good at.
Great. So we see that actually innovation is already in the move, and here with the new joiner in the market serving the investment fund industry. Thank you for the time, and thank you for your share of expertise.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting.